Welcome to One Man's Tracks, the secondhand music channel, persistently piecing together the path of music's past. This pursuit of packaging these powerful, perception-shifting, passionate portrayals has pulled me prominently towards the electro-punk stylings of some of England's most preeminent performers. A band that helped to shape the 90s UK rave scene, but also evolve that sound and largely contribute to the mainstream crossover success of electronic music up into the 21st century and beyond. A band that has one main musical mastermind but is fronted by a few energetic powerhouse MC vocalist dancers. It was formed in Braintree, England in 1990. It's the Prodigy. Built around the tuned-in mind of DJ Liam Howlett's gritty, ravey breakbeats and embodied live by the fiery expositions of Maxim Reality, Leroy Thornhill, and Keith Flint, the Prodigy encapsulated the moment and quickly rose to prominence with their debut record in 1992, Experience, unearthing the underground electro dance sound with its popularity. That home studio recorded platinum selling LP signaled the beginnings of a new era of electronic prominence, stomping out new avenues of influence towards the mainstream and allowing the band to share their songs worldwide. Those avenues quickly turning to EDM superhighways with the release of this. In July of 1994, a revolutionary, genre-pushing epic, their second through XL Records, produced by Neil McClellan and, of course, Liam Howlett. It's the Prodigy's music for the Jilted Generation. Such a raw, aggressive, charged-up album, The Jilted Generation is an unrelenting hardcore breakbeat bonanza, packed full to the brim with 78 minutes of propulsive electro fusions that demand to test whatever sound system it's being bumped through. Play it loud, but be prepared to be launched into rebellious action by its powerfully dynamic beats, driving textured melodies, and unraveling atmospheric layers. Because once you've gotten past their introductory droning statement of intent, if you haven't got a tight grip on the moment and a steady resolve to party, there's no way you're keeping up with these turbocharged trendsetters. As the mixed-up sampling and ripping breakbeats of Break and Enter come smashing through with their entrancing spacey synths and driven distorted riffs, establishing a remarkably captivating groove that the band manages to continue to roll along for pretty much the entirety of the first half of this vigorously futuristic project, re-emphasizing their defiant disapproval of anti-rave laws with their laws' grimy, rebellious, and tireless drum and bass rock fusion. In collaboration with Pop Will Eat Itself, this confrontational anthem is a great example of the Prodigy's ability to send a simple, abrasive message with a confident yet not overly preachy swagger. I think it has something to do in large part with Liam's hip-hop influenced breaks. Turning up the tempo to hyperdrive full throttle is a masterful real-time journey of a jungly, hardcore techno track being transformed into an innovative, ravey banger with wonderfully tense builds. It's a shame they were forced to edit this track down a bit to fit on the album, because this one just keeps on giving. They keep the hardcore dance rocking with an otherworldly, ritualistic maelstrom called Voodoo People and its supercharged sci-fi tribal mashup, and absolutely rippin' flute. Followed by yet another stamina-testing heater. The theme to Fastlane Speedway keeps up that high-powered retro-futuristic pursuit while still maintaining that signature engaged but aloof atmosphere. At long last, we get a few-minute floaty reset at the beginning of the Heat the Energy before its comforting, trickling synths turn into an engulfing rave number with a euphoric industrial jungle finale. It's a lot to pack into one track. Intense, hyper-dynamic, flashy, an overwhelming electronic surge. That's why my hair looks like this. I believe Poison is the first case where one of the dancers writes a hook for a Prodigy song, with Maxim bringing the rhythmical remedy to treat the infectious EDM disease he helped create. Boom bapping along, this dirty, dubby hooligan anthem is this album's best fit for the moniker of electropunk. I can't tell you how many different remixes of No Good I heard growing up, and I'm beginning to understand just how much of a prototype they created with this Kelly Charles vocal sampled unit. It's throbbing, hard-hitting techno D&B fusion is an epic, definitive start-the-dance cut to this day. One Love is another single that had to get edited down for the record, and retrospectively, Liam has even stated that he wishes he kind of just removed it entirely. And as much as I love One Love, I kind of have to agree for the sake of the original being even better and the general continuity of the album itself. This unifying warehouse jungle slammer is a phenomenal song, but it was already released and it did end up on the Hackers soundtrack to boot, so likely it would have made its way into these eardrums regardless. Plus, we get to enter into the Narcotic Suite next, and it's basically a vibey bonus 3-track EP tacked on the end here that is quite sweet indeed. Starting out with 3 Kilos' smooth, cool, atmospheric drum and bass, and more phenomenal flautisting. That cruisy coastal cut turns towards tribal house beats with Part 2's skylines, lush, cinematic building crescendos, leading us unwittingly into this album's final anxious twist, claustrophobic sting that ends this iconic adventure with one last whirling acid house ripper, achieving a very difficult task of creating a thoroughly compelling dance album that's impressively cohesive for just how much experimental stylistic blending it contains. A landmark album for the band and the greater electronic scene, music for the Jilted Generation's wealth of sounds hitting at breakneck pace alongside the band's visceral appreciation for the sound and expression of that sound. It highlighted the public's demand for a taste of that gritty, groovin', exclusive underground rave scene of England. And it's merely a stepping stone towards their critical and commercial peak in 1997, with over 10 million copies of Fat of the Land being sold. It's an album that introduced us to the vocal eruptions of the Firestarter, Keith Flint, as well as once again laying out an evocative, cutting-edge formula for alternative dance music. I'll be bold enough and say that these are both essential electronic albums for any collector. They have both stood the test of time, consistently delivering their aggressive, vivacious energy. For the hits, I'd say Fat of the Land is the clear favorite. The bass lines, the vocal hooks are unmatched and such fantastic earworms, but for an overall album experience, I'm still sticking with the Jilted Generation. Leroy Thornhill left the group in 2000 to pursue solo projects. Keith Flint also had a side project at the time simply called Flint, and they didn't last long, and their debut album, Device Number 1, never officially got released. He also had another side project, a short punky smash called Clever Brains Fryin', before in 2004 the Prodigy returned with their fourth album, Always Outnumbered, Never Outgunned. After deluxe re-releases of Experience and Jilted, they'd come out with their urgent, anthemic Invaders Must Die in 2008. Great record. I'm very surprised, though, with the amount these guys toured, the amount of focus on their live shows. They didn't have a proper live album release until 2011 with Worlds on Fire. In 2015, the band released their sixth and their first fully collaborative band album in the form of The Day Is My Enemy, and as of recording this, their most recent album is 2018's No Tourists. In March of 2019, Keith Flint made a sudden and tragic departure, an early exit from this world at 49 years old. His unbridled energy and enthusiasm for the stage was unmatched, truly a one-of-a-kind, and will be dearly missed. I'm sure he's still dearly missed. The Prodigy does continue to play on, though, with tours planned into 2026 and a new album being hinted at. I think a couple songs have been played, so fingers crossed. Although, honestly, I haven't been all that compelled to go back and revisit some of their more recent releases, but with that said, I'm still very much excited to see what Mr. Howlett and crew can do to continue pushing boundaries in this everly increasing hyper digital insane pace that the world seems to be moving at. What are your favorite Prodigy tracks? Remixes? Live shows? I'd love to dig a little deeper and find out. What do you think is the best album in their catalog? How would you rank their discography? Leave me a comment down below. Break that like button and enter into the One Man Tracks Retrospective Album Club by subscribing to this random review manic secondhand channel. Learn about more albums, learn about how it connects together maybe, or just get a cool playlist to rock along your life to. Don't join me if you're no good for me, 'cause I don't need nobody. Don't need no one that's no good for me. No good for me. I don't need nobody. Don't need no one that's no good for me.